Sadistic Penguin Studios presents the At the Show podcast with Tom Yumper Garcia.
Okay, you people sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. And if we're not back by dawn, call the president.
And Tony Tulsa Burt.
I don't know this industry jargon, YP, MP, whatever, okay? All I know is that I cannot get a record contract. We cannot get a record contract unless I take these tapes.
It's almost time, so grab a drink, get your popcorn ready, and join the film discussion with two guys from Chicago talking movies.
Hello, and welcome into another episode of the At the Show podcast. I am sorry, I am having so many technical difficulties today. Apparently, my computer decided to go into a fruts or drive me crazy. But you're in another episode of the At the Show podcast. We are back after a 2-week hiatus for a new episode presented to you by Sadistic Penguin Studios. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tom Garcia, aka Yumper, and I'm with my other co-host, Tony Burt, aka the Sugar Baggy. How you doing, my man?
Doing very well. I just realized after every show that we've done, I have to make sure that I have to run to the bathroom really quick because who knows, we're doing the show and I never want to need to use the bathroom. I don't know, it's a weird fact. I'm sure everybody does that.
So on our long ones, you be holding it pretty long then, huh?
Well, I do, and actually I make it, and that's the greatest part. But there's just something in my mind that's gonna tell me I'm not gonna this time. So you're having technical difficulties. I might have bladder difficulties. No, I'm not. It'd be fun.
You'll be enjoying this so much, you'll be pissing your pants.
That'd be our next shirt.
Yes. Speaking of shirts, Tone, like you mentioned, we have a new drop for a shirt, the At the Show 8-bit shirt, which I have a little video here of. You can get this over at sadisticpenguin.printify.me, and it has all our favorite characters of Jack Burton, Snake, and also the Crow in a 8-bit setting. You can get that over there. Help support the show. I actually really like that design. I'm actually going to print out some for me and you, Tone. I just haven't got around to it. That I'll send you so we can sport those. But yeah, man, there's been a lot of stuff going on in the not just in our podcast world. Also, baseball season is here. The White Sox have gotten off to a mediocre start, but better than last year. So I'm hoping they can finish above, the 70 win mark. I had them going 75 and 87 this year. What about you, man?
I'll take your positivity, my man. I mean, you got to be positive these days, and none of that. But baseball's baseball. I'll watch a losing game. I'll watch a winning game. I'll watch any game. I'll watch a Cubs game, a Sox game, a Cardinals game. You give me the game, and I'll watch it.
Yeah, I've been consuming
a lot of it baseball.
Yeah, I've been watching both the Sox and the Cubs. I haven't been to the ballpark yet, but we got to get down there for that too. Just been super busy. I know you've been super busy. But baseball is back. It's probably my favorite time of the year ever since I was a kid. Watching the game, playing the game, talking about the game. But Tone, today we're going to be going into our favorite topic to go on the side tangents, which is the X-Files, man. You're probably the biggest X-Files fan I know. And I'm going to be honest with you, before we get to what we've been watching in our other segments, I watched a couple of my favorite episodes just to refresh my memory. And man, it made me want to do a whole X-Files podcast just dedicated to X-Files.
We are turning this into an all X. No, I mean it's really that good. I will put it in top. Honestly, if you ask me right now, what are the top 2 television shows of all time? I think it's The Sopranos and it's the X-Files. But that's just me.
Yeah, man. And I watched. I just went through certain episodes from different seasons, and I'm like, man, it kept me so engaged and involved in the writing, the story. It wasn't as corny as people have said it has been. I thought it was actually really done well. Two great, actors in their own primes, and Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny. It's just, to me, it just was wonderful. like I would want to talk X-Files all the time. Maybe we going forward after this, we can maybe add an X-Files segment where we just talk about an episode every once in a while just to throw it in there. But I really, really enjoyed preparing for this podcast. I even got my wife. I even got my wife actually watching some of them. Sorry, I talk too fast sometimes, and my mouth can't catch up.
You're good.
But enough of me rambling on, Mr. Burt. Let's get into what we've been watching this week, my friend.
That's a me. And also, what were you just watching?
So what were you watching this week, my guy?
Two movies that I will watch this week. I'll start with the very first one, which was Primate. I don't know if you've heard of this movie. It came out in January. It is a horror movie. And this was the type of movie that as soon as I was done watching it, I really wanted to just call and text you and talk to you about it. But then I said, well, that's why we got a show. We could do it right here live for everybody. I had a lot of fun with this movie. You're looking for a real cool, real quick on its feet, really kind of, it's got some really good graphics for what it's doing, and I had a fun time. It's this Primate. It does a really, really good job at selling the character of the monkey. If you've seen the movie Nope, the only part in the movie that was really actually any part scary was the monkey part that like ripped apart everybody. So like this is that part times 100. And he does a very good job, the monkey does, and it's a good movie, and it's something that I think you will enjoy if you like horror movies. Horror, I think, is back. From reading things, we're just gonna keep getting really good horror movies.
It's funny you mentioned Nope, because when I saw the trailer for this movie, I automatically thought about that, and I'm like, please, be good. don't let my hopes down like Nope. And
if you got Paramount Plus, it's right there. It's only about an hour and a half, and honestly, I was actually shocked at how good it was, because the one dude who's in it, which I'm going to pull him up here in a second, he was in that movie Coda that was up for Academy Award about in 2021. His name is Troy Kotzer. He is he is a deaf actor, and he uses sign language, but his character in this movie, like he's the dad of these girls where the monkey is attacking everybody, and he's like out of town, but when he comes back, to not have your hearing and this thing's attacking people and not know it, it adds a cool layer and a part of the movie. So it's really good acting. Honestly, like I said, the special effects are really good. And if you've ever heard of that ridiculous, stupid show called Dharma and Greg, Greg has a really good death in this. So if you're looking for that,
so if I like him, I'll be excited to know he dies.
Yeah, or if you're like, because I know some like Family Guys made fun of the show, you can, watch Greg get mauled by this. And it's unfortunate. I'll be honest with you. The part that hurt me the most is like rabies is what does this, from the very beginning, it's even like in the trailer. And that's really kind of like, it's not the monkey's fault that it unfortunately turns this way. And that's the part that really kind of gets me, because I'm like, it's kind of a cute monkey, it was cute before it turned. Because obviously this monkey is like, if you brought a monkey into your house and was training it and it became part of your family for like years, and then all of a sudden something bad happened. So like they know it to be a nice monkey, but unfortunately bad circumstances.
So it's like a Cujo, like a new version of Cujo.
It is you know what? That's actually a good example of Cujo. That's a good one.
Cool. I'll definitely check this one out.
And the second movie I watched, which is one of my favorite guilty pleasure films, is Breakdown with our man Kurt Russell. I remember back in the late 90s or even 90s at all, you can go and see what was called a sneak preview of a movie. It was come out the Saturday before the actual release, and it was only like one showing, and if you were lucky, you get to go see a movie before it came out. I did it with this movie. I like this movie because Kurt Russell, I like these movies because they're ridiculous. Let's just start there. He's out in the middle of the desert. His car breaks down and his wife needs a ride, so he lets her go into a semi. I mean, come on now. I know today we're in a different time, but even in the 1980s, I wouldn't be
Where's
like,
my wife?
Go into this, and that's what's funny. he starts going into the diner or whatever, and he's like, exactly that. Like, you see my wife, and everyone starts looking at him like he's crazy, but you find out that she was taken. It's a good Kurt Russell deep cut. I try to have seen everything of Kurt Russell, so this one a little bit under the radar, a little bit more.
Yeah, I've seen this one. That's why I was like, oh, if
You
you
did a
see my
good job
wife.
saying that, honestly. You could have, that was a good part right there.
I love Kurt Russell. You love Kurt Russell. Yeah, this is actually one of his underrated films that I really, really enjoyed. But I mean, it's one that people don't talk about. Another film that pops in my head when I think about this film is another film with Kiefer Sutherland called The Vanishing.
Vanishing.
Yeah.
You just at the same time love The Vanishing. That's a good movie too.
Yeah, they're kind of like on the same level, kind of like the same kind of premise. But it's just like it was just at the time, and I also for this movie, I remember when you used to have like the movie channel or Showtime or HBO, they used to have commercials sometimes before their other films started, and I remember they would always show the trailer for this one.
What's cool is I got like a VHS somewhere of like 1980s of that middle part you're talking about, and I miss those days.
Yeah, man, it's
cool.
like just realizing and going back, you know, there's so many things that we do now that to see a film, you can just go on your app, on a phone, you can go on the internet. Like back then, we had to go through newspapers. Do you remember when we had to go through newspapers
every Friday?
Yeah, to see what was playing. I read their newspaper reviews. That's why I fell in love with Ebert and Siskel and Ebert and Roper. You know, the Sun Times was like my thing. I used to read it all the time.
Yep.
And then even like you can order your damn food now on apps, and before you had to stand in lines. I mean, you still kind of do that, but you can order it to get like early pickup. It's just ridiculous.
The trailer thing that really gets me because I used to get excited to go to the movies. You didn't know what the trailer was going to be because you couldn't watch it on your phone or the internet, and you were like, "This is going to be awesome." Now it's like you're watching it for the 5th time as you go see the movie, you know.
Yeah, and that's with everything. I mean, I guess it's the fact that we're getting old. But I remember the reason I'm talking about this is because I actually recently, for work, we were talking about upgrading some of our software, and we got into discussion of doing some stuff for our media stuff, like our, we have features like dynamic media, which is like, say, a loading screen, how it has that circle that comes up. We were talking about that, loading that for one of our apps, and then it got into, man, do you remember when like the internet had QuickTime was like their main video player, and you could see QuickTime? Like I remember watching Cubs highlights and Sox highlights with QuickTime. You know, I thought it was the coolest thing too. And then I started thinking about movies and how, you know, the movie just changed. Or before you used to call in to see what times things are. You know, the whole Kramer thing from Seinfeld, movie phone.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was cool. You could just, and then you listen to the times.
Yeah. Just crazy stuff. And paper tickets too. Which I know Dougie Fresh would appreciate. But 2 real good movies, man. Me, on the other hand, I went with an old classic since it is baseball season. I went with a film that doesn't get talked about a lot when we talk baseball. Not us particular, because I know we both like it, is Mr. Baseball with the great mustache of Tom Selleck when he goes out to Japan to play. There's also a feature of Frank Thomas, who I'm assuming got paid for this film, even though he wasn't paid from the White Sox, but for his merch stuff. But I just like this film. It's kind of cheesy, but it's got Ken Takakuri, who of course is in Black Rain. He's also a big time film star in Japan. He's passed on, but he was Gogol 13, which is their version of James Bond. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Gogol 13. Have you?
I have not heard of that. No.
Yeah, so it's basically their version of James Bond, but he's like more badass. They actually had a game out for NES a while ago, but he's like on comics and movies, and the live version was played by Ken Takakura. You know, but you have Tom Selleck, who's actually very good at baseball, believe it or not. You know, showing that culture in the Japanese Nippon League with the Dragons, who of course have the same colors as the Dodgers. And then you have Dennis Haysbert before. I think this is actually after he was Serrano. He plays the Hammer, Max Dubois. So if you love baseball movies with Dennis Haysbert, you got him in there. It's probably, to me, besides Quigley Down Under, this is probably Tom Selleck's best movie, I would say.
The only other movie I got is there's a movie from 1983 where he's a cop and Gene Simmons is the bad guy. It's called Runaway.
Oh yeah,
that's probably, those are the three right there.
Oh, and some people say 3 Men and a Baby, I guess, would be another one.
Yeah, for what it is, for 80s cheese, sure, we'll give it to it. But Tom Selleck, he'll always Magnum BI, the television stuff, but that mustache, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's on Blue Bloods and he still got it, man.
He does.
Top of the hair is going, but the mustache still there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of my favorite baseball movies. I decided to switch it up. Usually I'll watch either Major League or something, but I'll do Mr. Baseball, give that a run in honor of the baseball season getting and going.
It's like the front cover of the box too, real quick.
No, yeah, it is. I actually like the music in it. It makes me laugh.
The music too.
And then there's a lot of good parts in the film too. When he shoots the commercial, big hit, healthy body. Just a lot of little things about the culture there, and just he's kind of a dick at first, and then builds up his trust with his teammates. But yeah, if you haven't seen Mr. Baseball, check it out. It's a '92 movie, so it's kind of it's what, 33 years old. Damn.
Yeah, deep cut.
I remember when I saw these at the movie theater, not the movie theater, the movie rental store.
Me too. That's why I'm talking about. When you said that to me, as soon as you said it to me, the box was in my head.
With the little
text
chip
me and I go, Mr. Baseball, there it is, the box.
I remember when it came out, and I told my dad, "Hey, Mr. Baseball." He's like, "What the hell's that?" So we took it when we watched it, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then another film I decided to get into, and this is more because I was when I can't sleep, I do go through film Reddit, or I'll go through like anything with like paranormal film. That's just my thing. I just go through those subreddits. And there was discussion on the Terminator series. And like we said before, James Cameron's actually supposedly writing a new Terminator. We don't know what's going to happen because he's still doing Avatar, and James Cameron is up there. But supposedly this Terminator is going to be taking place kind of like the replacement for Salvation. It'll be in that era. Linda Hamilton's not going to make an appearance. Arnold Schwarzenegger supposedly is in talks just to consult. So maybe he might be like a stand-in for the T-800. But that got me thinking about Terminator Dark Fate. Now, I did do a Terminator Dark Fate review before we had our podcast, before I was doing podcasts, when I saw it in theater, and I gave it a pretty favorable review. But since then, people have been kind of crapping on it. They hate the film, and I was like, did it really age that bad? So I went back and I actually watched it again to see what I thought of it, and I really enjoy it. I thought it was, and people crap on the Terminator films, 1, 2 being the best. Everybody says 3, 2 is the best. I like Terminator 3. I liked Salvation. Genesis wasn't as bad as people say it was. It wasn't the greatest Terminator film, but it wasn't horrible. And Dark Fate wasn't bad. So this is a series that, unlike the RoboCops, which got slightly worse every time it happened, this one actually was taken pretty good care of. The only unfortunate thing is Terminator Dark Fate did not draw enough at the box office to, get that ball rolling on other sequels. But again, it takes, James Cameron wanting to do something else in the future. Tone, what do you think about Terminator Dark Fate?
Pretty much all that you said. I will say that I think just sometimes there's movies that people just don't give a chance to. This movie, I think, is one of them. It might be because, and I have no problem actually with the movie too, because for what it is, the one before this, Genesis. The only movie I think I really disliked when I first saw it, I think I've come around a little bit more, was Salvation. Because it's so different than 1, 2, and 3. But when now you look back through it through another lens, it's not that bad. And all these movies are good for what they are. But this movie in particular, I like a lot of the performances. Honestly, they're actually really good. Arnold, in a lot of his newer stuff, could play stiff or doesn't seem like he fits. He actually does well in this movie for what he's pulling off. And so does, who's the other main bad guy? Is it Diego Luna? No. Is it?
No. I forget his name. It's
what do you call that though? The way he's able to switch and change and do all of that. Gabriel Luna.
Gabriel Luna.
Really good performance by him too, because really, as we get to the X-Files here in a couple minutes, that's the reason why I've always gave the Robert Patrick seasons a chance, because of how good he was as you know, the what's it called, Terminator T-1000. So
yeah, he took that role seriously too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this one doesn't get enough love. The only thing I would say is I wish they would have brought Edward Furlong back. They did show him in the film, but like more computer generated.
He's busy for The Crow 3.
Well, he gained like a lot of weight. I'm happy he's healthy now. He did a podcast I saw, and little side story. He actually was talking about, he signed a deal for Terminator 3. And part of his deal was not to get in trouble, and him not having the right people around him was like to celebrate. He went and got high and got busted, and they basically cut it. That basically, ruined his career.
He would have been better in that movie, though. You are right.
But it would be kind of cool if they would have brought him back with Linda Hamilton. But yeah, man, if you're into like the film series that still does, kind of do a little justice as it goes along, check out the Terminator series. I've always enjoyed it. I do want to see what Cameron does. I just hope it's not I hope it's not as boring as Avatar, because I like James Cameron, but I just do not like Avatar, and I try to like Avatar. I just don't.
It's tough for me. That's kind of like Lord of the Rings. I just can't get there. The book's awesome. I don't know, something about the film though.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, Lord of the Rings is a unique taste. I enjoyed the films, but I only watched them maybe twice.
That's what I mean. Like, that's what they are. Like, if you were like, oh man, I rented a theater to watch them, I wouldn't deny it. I'd say, okay, I'll watch them. Because I know they are good for what they are. It's just not my particular taste, I guess.
Yeah, and to be honest, like The Hobbit and all that, I did not go see them in theater. I didn't even watch them, to be honest.
Those are a little bit something even different.
Yeah,
those are a little much.
Yeah, so to each their own, but this film is one of the films that really got me into this particular film, but this film series is what got me into sci-fi. Predator, of course, and Arnold was at the forefront of that. Running Man, the original Running Man, that's sci-fi. Total Recall, and whenever I know we did a Schwarzenegger versus Stallone, but in terms of impact on film, besides Stallone winning the Oscar for Rocky, which people say was warranted, I think Schwarzenegger, in terms of the action, has had a more of a bigger impact than Sylvester Stallone. But of course, they're both two mega icons of the series, of the franchise, of genre. What about you? What do you think?
I think, Arnold, I think it's because, don't get me wrong, I love Rocky, but my problem was always because I had friends that made jokes, especially in part 3, how small Rocky looks against Hulk and against like Mr. T. So like when you see Arnold, he's a big guy. Commando, that's the first movie I seen him in, and you're like, holy moly, this guy, you don't want to mess with him. And that's why I think for me, he just seems larger than life. And the Terminator is, come on now, like Terminator, Aliens, Predator. There you go. Those movies are iconic, and he's in 2 of the 3.
Yep. Maybe he'll be back in the 4th one. Well, supposedly in the new Terminator, Predator, he's in talks to be in that too.
That's always interesting. Now they're bringing a lot of stuff back. Hopefully it can take off better than other things he's tried to be a part of.
Yeah, and if he's still willing and able to, get him on film.
I'm always for that. I think most directors aren't going to put crap out there. They want to make money. I think that's always the objective. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, unless it's like the producers who are trying to make a movie that fails or a show that just bombs so they can collect the dough. Kind of like the Batgirl movie that they had, and they just shelved it.
Warner Brothers, what was it, like they did some Looney Tunes movie that they shelved for $80 million.
Yeah, Wile E. Coyote.
There you go. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, that's what we watched this week. Let us know what you watched this week over at the show pod on Twitters. You can let us know at Facebook at Sadistic Penguin Studios, or you can let us know in the comments here on the YouTubes. Before we get into the X-Files tone, I have a question to ask you, my friend, because this is some stuff that's been griping me a little bit. So we live in stuff that's going on in the world. I mean, you can't ignore what's going on. And I'm not going to really go into that aspect of, life, but lots of stuff's going on. Me, I consume a lot of that stuff and I consume a lot of other stuff. But in regards to film, there is a podcaster he's more of a conservative podcaster, probably one of their biggest ones, named Tim Pool. Have you heard of him?
Yes.
Okay. So Tim Pool was very upset that the new film of Animal Farm that is produced by Andy Serkis, who is Gollum, directed it. It has, I believe, Seth Rogen is producing it. It's more geared towards kids, but it goes over, George Orwell's Animal Farm. And he's very upset that this film is pushing socialism. And to me, it's like, you're upset. Why? Like, it's making fun of capitalism. He went this rant about how it's making fun of capitalism. And that makes me think, like, did you even read the fucking book?
Well, it's ironic you should actually bring this topic up, because yesterday we read chapter 3. Okay, we're 3 chapters into the 10-chapter book. I saw the movie that's coming out, and I'm reading this book. And I'll be honest with you, for 8th graders, they're understanding it because I'm trying to explain it to them. But movies aren't as blatant as some of these people think that they are. You know what I mean? Like, let people just watch a movie and take from it what they take from it. But and I know, a guy like Tim Pool ain't gonna just let a movie named Animal Farm, he's gonna say some stuff.
Yeah, but I understand that aspect, but just looking at, like, he's upset that they're ruining Orwell's work. And I'm like, do you know who George Orwell is? Like, to me, it's, if you have a gripe about something, come out and say, like, be at least factual in your, and I know we're talking about a podcaster here, but when it comes to film, it's like I'm saying, oh man, they're ruining Sylvester Stallone's career, making him play a mobster. That guy's not even really fully Italian, but what the hell,
It's a way to, how do I say that? They have a feeling about the filmmakers who are making this movie. Now, as opposed to just coming out and saying something about the filmmakers, what they're going to do is try to spin it on the novelist, to say the novelist is the one who would be ashamed that they did this. And you say to yourself, though, like, to be really fair, and I'm going to be honest with you, the novelist's family had to okay this. Like, you really got to understand that. Like,
and I understand that.
Like, whoever Poole is, to be like, how could they do this to Orwell? His family was like, we're okay with this. This looks like it's a good representation of our grandfather or whoever it is. So Poole, I think, is,
And I mean, there was the 1950s Animal Farm that came out that was more under the Project Mockingbird, which was pro-capitalism. And that's one film, but there's been so many renditions of it come out after that show the actual true works of Orwell. And to Orwell's, faults, he married a younger woman before he passed, because he wanted his estate, his work, to be able to be, decided on for years to come. And she must have got that bag. Hey, that's his fault. That's why with the first selling of it. But I mean, I can remember so many other renditions of this story, either by TNT doing a film, either by, other short films. And then you discuss it in school. And the thing that gets me is Tim Pool's from Illinois. He's from around our area of the suburbs. And I'm like, dude, you've discussed this book. I mean, every English class has discussed this book at some aspect in their class. You know what I mean?
Well, yes. Yes. And I also think, though, like, we do this show because we like to talk about these things that we like. But to be fair, if you really wanted this show to blow up to levels that you haven't seen, what you got to do is do things that nobody does and be like,
that is
the movie The Godfather. That's a real piece of garbage film, and let me tell you why.
So
Who
I
are
think I
these
should
actors
trash
in it?
Scarface more. Is that
That's
what
what
you're
I'm
saying?
saying. Well, but we've been, but that's the thing is you got to go on everything. Okay, we'll start with Scarface, and then next week we'll go into Shawshank Redemption and Forrest Gump, and go through all the best movies, but say that they're just hot garbage. And people, what they'll do is do what we're doing. And the jerk, honestly, I just would like to get in a room with like a Tim Pool and actually think privately if this is how he really feels, or does he do this just because you know what, he's a jerk.
I would just ask him like, and this is like a serious question. Like, I know you talk politics, but how am I supposed to take you seriously with that beanie on your head?
That could be, yeah.
But no, what you're saying is correct, and I think like we could
Right.
go that route. We could go like, but I always feel like, and I'd rather be genuine than try to just get that hot take. But that's just me. I know.
No, I know, but I mean, and I believe, and it's the sad part of what I'm about to tell you is that even if it's 0.5% him believing in what he's saying, that's a problem. I mean, but he plays it though. Like that's their card, is they can play something that is the most ridiculous as though it's the most authentic, and look at you right in the eyes, and you could be like, "What are you talking about?" And that's the craziness of it all.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure whoever tuned in today didn't expect me to be talking Tim Pool, but I was just like, "What the hell?" I know. But do you have any news and rumors, man? Any gripes that you want to talk about?
No gripes. That was actually a really good conversation considering I'm reading the book. I mean, honestly, it's just, that's just a really good topic, Nothing more than that. That was good.
Cool. All right, my friend. Well, let's move on to our main event here, man. Let's go into our top 5 episodes of the X-Files. The show ran from 1994 all the way to 2018. Of course, there was a break in there. It ran for 11 seasons, mostly with the lead characters of Mulder and Scully, and then eventually Robert Patterson joined, and then Gillian Anderson left, and they had another Scully character, but a different Scully.
Annabelle Gish.
Thank you, sir. Annabelle Gish. I was looking for her name frantically because I'm like, I just wrote her name down. Okay. Annabelle Gish was in there. But not there, like I said earlier when we were talking before what did we watch this week? I just loved going back and watching these episodes that I had for my favorites, and there's so many more I could have picked for it. It's just an awesome show. Over 200 episodes, I believe 223 episodes, if I'm not mistaken, that just ran for so long. And they're all tight-knit, cut for TV, about 43 minutes, so you can pretty much burn through them really quickly if you wanted to go through them. But, Tone, with these are our 5 favorites now. It could also change anytime.
Yeah, that's true, too.
But I'll give you my first episode from the X-Files, and what other place to start than the pilot episode, nicknamed Pilot, that dropped on September 10th, 1993. This introduces us to characters of Mulder and Scully. We see that Scully's actually hired to go not undercover as an FBI agent, but more of a basic reports on Mulder and his eccentric ways of doing investigations and on the so-called X-Files. An X-File is actually basically something that cannot be explained scientifically, and the FBI headquarters, hence alien abductions, stuff that people raising, zombies, stuff like that, that they kind of throw off to the side. And we see Mulder leading this little charge. But as explained in the first episode, Mulder's actually the cream of the crop, man. He's like the top of his field in occult study. He's an expert in that. He's also very, very good at profiling, which he explains in this episode. That's why it gives him opportunities to kind of do what he wants to do in terms of case files. But Scully has to write these reports on him going forward, and Scully being the skeptic and Mulder being the one who wants to believe. This one's kind of around alien abduction, but I don't want to give away the whole episode because I encourage people to watch it. But this one kind of pulls you in because you're finding, these people are dying from that are in the same class. They're dying with these marks on them. They they dig up a body to check out the other students that died or people from this class of school, and they find that the bodies are basically like little aliens. After they do an autopsy on them, it just goes from there where they're meeting the last survivors trying to figure this out, and it kind of goes twists and turns, and you're looking at all these clues, and it just kept me so invested in the show. And I rewatched this episode, and I was like, man, it made me want to know what happens next, and I've seen it before. Like the play up to it was just great. You have the actors in here besides the Duchovny and Anderson aren't really big time, but you have the cigarette smoking man is for characters introduced, even though he's not mentioned by name. William B. Davis in here. And this whole episode took about 14 days to shoot. One thing that did stick out to me about this, though, Tone, is in the later episodes, when they shoot a gun, they actually show them shooting. Either it's a blank or not. This one, they're a cutaway. Like when he fights the guy for the shotgun, it cuts away and the gun goes off. So just a lot of crazy stuff with this. It keeps you invested, keeps you wondering. It's a little corny with Mulder, but it gives you a big black backstory of why Mulder is what he does, why he is the way he is, why he's doing what he's doing. And it shows that dynamic between the two, especially for, reading about the series when they wanted Pam Anderson to play Scully because they wanted a more beefier, burlesque agent. And
didn't they see barbed wire?
Yeah. And Chris Carter fought like hell to keep Scully there, which I thought was probably his best decision. Before I hand it over to you, just one more trivia fact. The fact that David Duchovny is the real skeptic and Gillian Anderson is the actual person that believes just shows how great of actors they are.
Yeah.
So what do you think of the pilot, my guy?
Really good episode. Of course, you need to start the pilot with a really good episode. The really cool part, I think, is that my personal favorite, what's funny is one of my favorite characters on the show that isn't one of the main characters. He isn't going to be in any of my favorite episodes tonight, but it's William B. Davis. He is awesome in all of those connected episodes, just smoking that cigarette. Just a really cool character. It's one that you can really see and feel because what they're going for is like that mysterious, like back in the old days, a deep throat from like All the President's Men, like somebody who you can't see, you don't really know who he is. But then that's what's cool through the show. You learn more and more and more and more about him. Very interesting stuff. It's just like you said, it's a really, really cool episode. It really gets the show started. You're introducing these characters for the first time, and Chris Carter just does a really good job at doing that. And the director for the episode too, Robert Mandel, he does a really good job at filming what they're trying to show.
Yeah, and it's kind of this also gives me a lot of like Indiana Jones. He's with top men. When they put the crate away at the end, when they put the evidence away, it gave me that vibe. I really liked the way it's shot. It kept me wanting more. It kept me wanting to know what's going to happen next week. I remember I didn't see the pilot when it was first released because I was like 8 years old. But I did watch the X-Files when I was, on TV. I remember the commercials for them. I remember watching them. And when I went back and watched the series, the pilot always stuck out to me. I'm like, man, how can you not get started with the first episode to get you really into it? So that's why I picked this one as one of my favorites.
Well, that was a good episode, and it was a good pick.
Which one did you pick, man?
All right. Next, I got up here. Oh, sorry. Here. Next, I got up here. We got Squeeze. This is my first favorite episode here. It's season 1, episode 3, which is really an awesome episode if you have not seen it. Which is pretty much the whole entire episode is their standalone episodes, which are probably my favorite of all the episodes because it's kind of like Tales from the Crypt. You get a new episode, something different, a different monster. something that is just honestly cool. And
Monster of the
interesting.
week.
Yeah, and David Duchovny is really funny on the show. Does a really good job at some of those different things. So this episode is really good for being scary. The main character, Eugene Victor Toombs, played by Doug Hutchinson. What's also awesome is that I won't say that I'm not going to pick this other one as another episode, but they do a sequel in the same season with the same character called Toombs, which is his name. So it's cool. You get the same character, really scary stuff. Donald Logue, who is awesome in so many different things. If you have not heard of him, he's in everything from the Zodiac to the Cloverfield Paradox, Jerry Maguire, all over the place, Gettysburg. But does a good job in this episode too. But you get to see kind of how the show's going to be breaking off from just doing the alien stuff. So doing a first episode like that with Squeeze, and the FX in this episode are really great too, because the whole episode is this character's got to, like, he could squeeze into any little tight spot, and it's just really creepy and weird. One thing I'll always remember hilariously is my dad would tease my sister that Toombs was going to come out when she was sleeping or something like that, and she didn't even know what the hell he was talking about. But that's what was funny, is that it's just a really episode that sticks with you in a lot of cool ways if you like awesome horror movies, actually.
So it's funny you picked this episode because it's actually one of my favorites I listed down. So before I get into my explanation, me and Tony did not share our list with each other. No. We did this blind, which is hilarious. So this is one of my favorite episodes because of everything you just laid down. The monster of Toombs, to me, was something that I haven't seen before in anything, like, at the time. It was creepy as hell how the first time you're introduced to the character, he's in a damn vent, and they're like, what are you doing in there? And he pulls out a dead cat. And I'm like, what the hell is he doing? So then you're thinking, well, maybe he wasn't the guy that was in there. But as they go forward, they find that he is the person going around eating people, like parts of people. It just freaks you out. Like, and at the ending always stuck out to me when he's in the locked room and they have the little slot for the food trays, and he's staring at it laughing because he can probably get through it, and it cuts to black after that, and you're like, what the hell happened? That, to me, it was perfectly done. And yes, it was part of the Monster of the Week thing for the X-Files. That was like a running kind of like gag with X-Files fans. Oh, the Monster of the Week. But this one's perfectly written. And for a third episode, it's like a home run. You're hitting home runs like left and right. And this one always stuck out with me. And just to even go on, because I have the actual sequel is actually my favorite episode of all time, which is Toombs. And that one, it gives more of a backstory of who Toombs is. He's basically this mythical creature that's been killing people since the early times. He goes into 30-year hibernations, and like he goes into this like a cocoon. That shit was crazy as hell, man. That was like, that episode was the first season, the 20th episode of the first season, and they played off this character. I wish they would have had even more of him, but but unless you watch, what happens. But just the whole fact, like, it was so perfectly done. And like you said, they're one-offs. The first one was just him one-off. You don't know what happens. This one picks up. It's kind of like a sequel to a movie. It picks up with him almost getting caught trying to squeeze through the slot for the food slot because a psychiatrist comes in, and then he gets let out. He gets discharged, and then Mulder's trying to convince everybody that Toombs is the guy who's killing people. But if Mulder came up to me and said this guy was alive like in 1930 killing people and he could like hibernated, like I'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? But just when that always cracks me up when he gives the the slideshow presentation, and he's like going off and people are like, what, this guy's crazy. But the character is played so well by Doug Hutchinson. And oh my, just the writing is phenomenal. And Chris Carter, like, and James Wong wrote this. Glenn Morgan wrote this. James Wong, who wrote Final Destination, was the writer of the Toombs episode. To to go off, there are two, James Wong, Chris Carter, and Glenn Morgan, made this ideal up. They did such a great job with this character. He's probably one of the most iconic characters of the series, and the series has been 11 seasons. I mean, there's so many characters, but the guy from the first season that only appeared in 2 episodes, that's ridiculous.
It's pretty, like I said, it sticks with you, man. Like he's got those red eyes. Yeah. And like you just like it's creepy, and like you said, that whole cocoon part, that's really creepy.
Yeah, man. That when he goes up to him and sees it's like a blue light on him when he's in there, and he makes that sound. I'm like, what the hell? It was like creepy, man. He was weird looking as a normal guy. Imagine him as a monster,
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I love the aspect of it. I love the imagination of it. It takes a lot to get you up in the scary feels, and this one made you so paranoid because he could go be anywhere. He could fit in anything.
Yeah, that's what was scary about it.
Yeah, I loved it. The funny thing is, Hutchinson actually had originally penned a screenplay for the X-Files, which he would have acted in as a prequel, like origin episode of Toons, but never got made.
Oh.
But yeah, he's considered the most prolific and iconic monster of the week in all X-Files lore. But it is awesome. And then if you go back to the episode My Struggle in 2016, there's a picture of Tooms on their wall to show like his iconicness as in the X-Files. Just a great character, great story writing. If you want to see 2 episodes, I encourage you to see Squeeze and see Tooms back to back. I watched them again just because it's the story building and the storytelling and the dynamic of everything just sold me on it so much. If you like horror and that sci-fi element, those are the 2 episodes to go through. So Tone, we both agreed on Squeeze, and I said Tooms is my other one. What is your next one, my friend?
All right, I'll start dipping into a little bit later into the seasons here. I'm gonna go season 5, episode 12, which is gonna bring me to Bad Blood, which is going to star to me the most ridiculous Patrick Renna, who you will know from the great Sandlot. And also, honestly, in one of the best ridiculous television performances, Patrick Wilson nails this performance in this episode. What I liked about this show, like Tales from the Crypt too, my favorite show of all time, is they could switch the knob on like comedy. They could do some comedy. They can do the sci-fi. They could do the horror. They can mix it all together. And this episode kind of mixes like the comedy with the horror, and it's ridiculous because what you get is that classic Mulder tells his side of the story, and then you go through all of it, and he sees Scully one type of way, and then Scully tells her side of the story with the same stuff happening, but her way. And what's funny is in like Mulder's way, Luke Wilson's like a hillbilly with like hillbilly teeth, and then like in Scully's way, he's like this attractive cop who's like really, and like the way Wilson plays it really showed me that the show is more than just being, and by this point you're in season 5, you have to start doing different stuff if you really want to make it far and long. So playing around with these different ideas was really, really good. Another one of my favorite characters on the show was Mr. Agent Skinner, Mitch Pileggi, Shocker, or we can call him from Wes Craven's Shocker. But again, his seriousness he was like so dead serious. It was ridiculously hilarious. And I always enjoyed his character too. And he shows up and he's always questioning what's going on. So I just got to throw it out to him. But for a fun episode, I really like this one. It's written by Mr. Vince Gilligan, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. So now you know that like this show produces good writers. And that's really why these shows are awesome, because some of the greatest writers of other television shows have spawned from this show. So it's kind of like this was their college to get out and go do their vision of what that is. But they can write some really good scripts, and this is one of them.
Yeah, I just shows that I picked a perfect partner for me for the At the Show podcast, because when I seen him in an episode I'm gonna talk about after this, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot the Shocker was in here.
Shocker.
But yeah, you nailed it, man. This is considered, Jillian Anderson considered this in a Ask Me Anything on Reddit in 2014, I think it was. She said this is her favorite episode. And I think it's awesome because, like you said, they gave two sides of the same story, but just from different point of views.
Yeah.
And in real life, when you talk, it's going to be like that. People have different perspectives. And I love the aspect of that writing. It always cracked me up that the Hambino was the vampire, because I'm like, he still looks like a kid even today. I mean,
He does.
And you got Luke Wilson, a young Luke Wilson in here. It just made me laugh. But great episode. It starts off with basically them in the office explaining why Mulder drove a stake through a kid's heart, which I'm like, holy shit. But masterfully written. The guy who wrote Breaking Bad wrote this, so you got cream of the creme stock on this for writing. Cool effects too. The glowing eyes to vampires, and I found that they achieved this by putting fluorescent stickers on the actors' eyelids, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm telling you, it looks still awesome. Like, it doesn't look. It looks way better than a lot of other things that came out then.
Yeah, it's really, really done well. For as much of ridiculous as I gave Patrick Renna being the vampire, he plays it really well as Ronnie Strickland. So I thought, it gave those actors kind of availability to get out of their comfort zone, or their typecast zone. And it's kind of cool if this show was that vehicle for them. Really, really good episode, man. I really liked that one too. I was on my top 10 list. I just didn't pick that one.
And to be fair, I got the list here, so I should have probably felt that you could go for Tombs, and I could have went somewhere else. But that's what I'm doing over here. I got so many awesome episodes, so that's what we're trying to cover here.
Oh,
and that's
man,
why it's so awesome to do something maybe later down the line. A little thing here, a little there, because there's just so much here to do.
Yeah. It's just so many episodes. And since you went later with season 5, I went even later with this episode, just to show that even though the show had kind of run its course, it still had those moments that were very, very good. And this one's actually from the last season, which was one of my favorites. Season 11, episode 8, Familiar. It was written by Benjamin Van Allen, and director Holly Dale actually directed this. This one to me stuck out because of Mr. Chuckleteeth. Now, those who don't know who Mr. Chuckleteeth is, go on Google and look him up. He is probably one of these scariest looking damn creatures or kids, toys, characters that I've ever seen in my life. I remember I watched this today just to refresh, and I couldn't, fathom how these kids in this damn episode were in love with Mr. Chuckleteeth. His song is horrible too. Mr. Chuckleteeth, we're going to be playing forever. This episode revolves around witchcraft and hellhounds, and although Mulder and Scully are older, and very old, in particular in this one, there's this the blends of comedy on it crack me up. When Scully's arguing with the cops saying that, they're investigating a child that was actually the death of a child. And when they're asked, why they're going to keep this case open because they think it's an animal that killed him, she's like, well, there's so many reasons why. And she lists off and the cops push back. and Mulder sticks up for her. And then when we're walking away, she's like, "Oh, thank you for sticking up for me." He's like, "You're my homie." And when he said that, I'm like, "What?" It's just so corny, but it's hilarious. The comedy between the two. And then there's like the Teletubbies like rip off in here. Did you see? I'm talking about these Teletubbies
Oh,
look
yeah.
freaky as hell.
Oh, yeah.
It brings back that horror feeling with a great story. Alex Carter does a great job as Chief Strong. You got Jason Gray Stanford as Eggers, and then Anna Strong, of course, for Aaron Chambers. Just all good acting all around, and a lot. And the great thing about this episode is, even though we're in episode 8 of season 11, right towards, I think there was like only 2 more episodes left. They're still going back to the classics of Stephen King, because if you watch the X-Files, you see that they pulled a lot of visualization or tribute to King's works. Just, whether it be the red balloon, whether it be the dog from Cujo, any little thing in there, Tommy Knockers symbolism in there, any little just reference to it. Like, it's not an actual direct, "Oh, this is Stephen King." It's more of like a symbolism in it. And they show it in here with the familiar, which is basically this demon or entity can mimic to draw people into the woods to where kill them by either the hellhound or whatever. And before the main kid in the film, this episode, Andrew is drawn away. He's wearing the yellow raincoat, which everybody knows Georgie from It. I just love the symbolism there. I love, all the aspects of it. And for me, even though the series is kind of running its course, I thought, this still, like, it was a banger to end with, in the last season. What do you think about this one?
Really cool, like you said. It's funny as you say all those things and the way that it was written. That's why the title's familiar, because it's like things are familiar, but it's like in this creepy way. And just like X-Files, they do it and pull it off really elegantly.
Yeah, they did a great job with it. I really, man, it's Mr. Chuckleteeth just fucking creeped me out, man. He was a strange man. And they kind of based his stuff off like Pee Wee Herman, which I thought was like, wow, he has like the little door behind him, and like he does that little stupid dance. It's just, to me, it's just,
Oh, yes. I got him pulled up here, yes.
yeah. My God, I can't believe it. It was just, I'm trying to get a picture up before we got to yours, but man, it's just, oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let me see if I can share my screen here and just show you Mr. Chuckleteeth really quick, so people on the YouTubes can see him. And if you want to check this out, you can check it on the YouTubes if you're listening audioly. But let me see here. Here we go, Mr. Chuckleteeth. So right here, man, look at him. Look how fucking creepy that is, dude.
Like Dead Silence times 20.
Yeah, and it was inspired by Goosebumps Slappy the Doll.
I can see that.
Part of it was inspired there. And then you have, like this part where he's looking at the kid. And I'm like, if I saw this in the woods as a kid, that would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, be pretty scary.
Man, and then the whole, the PDF that they first claimed killed the kid, that gets beaten and then shot in the head. I was like, damn. Yeah, that dude, he just got shot in the head. There was no like cutaways, shot in the head. But I think it's because wasn't X-Files on like HBO its last few seasons?
I'm not sure. All I know, it was on Fox, even when it came back.
Okay,
it's kind of always been on Fox.
Okay, so they might have just
I know they got the, like, you could watch them now, I'm pretty sure, on HBO.
Yeah, you can watch it on Disney, I think. Which is what I watched them back on. But it was gory when they shot him in the head, and like I was like, oh man. But yeah, Mr. Chuckleteeth, just look up that guy and listen to that stupid song. But that's my other episode. What's your next one, Tone?
All right, I'm going to go here. Let's see. I'm going to go with season 6, episode 21. We're going to go on a field trip. Um, I like this episode because this episode is like, to me, like this stuff is deep. Like this episode to me is like deep. Okay, so like what ends up going on, and like this is crazy because like I'm like watching this movie and I needed it like explained to me by my dad because that's how like when I first saw it was like that's how mind-boggling it was. Is there's this giant hill, okay, and technically this giant hill is like a big, huge psychedelic mushroom that swallows the people inside it and makes you see things, and you start hallucinating to the point of death, and that's pretty much what happens to them on this hill. The episode starts really kind of crazily with some people out hiking, and they get a headache, and then things just don't go well from there, and they're turned to some skeletal remains. Not good stuff. So you're in here for pretty much something that isn't good at all. Robin Lively, who plays one of the characters in this, she's been like Doogie Howser and some other stuff like that. Just a real interesting plot. It's again very deep because when they're in this hill in this mountain, they start seeing things, and there's like a yellow substance that is like leaking all over them when they're in the giant hill, and they're like in a comatose state pretty much. So pretty much it's crazy, and this is kind of where like Walter Skinner also just figuring out what's really kind of going on. And that's what's crazy throughout the show is that like there's times where he really believes in what they're saying, and there's other times where he's just like, no, Mulder, you're wrong, nothing you're saying is correct, which he's just not really paying attention. But it's just interesting how it really, and that's what's crazy too, is that a lot of these shows and episodes end open-ended. You know what I mean? Like a lot of them, it's not like they solve them. It's not like they got it all locked up. You know what I mean? It's generally brushed under the rug, kind of blows away, and you never see it again. It's kind of weird and cool.
Well, I think it's to leave it open ended to keep the mystique or
Yeah,
mystery of it out
yeah.
there.
What makes it
And
cool.
that is another thing for this, which I like this episode as well. You know, you explained it really, really well about the yellow substance that gets into them. I always think of that image of when they show the people up there, they're all dirty, and that they find the skeleton remains of, they're dirty and they're laying there, and they do that aerial view that
Yeah.
always stuck in my head, that picture
Creepy.
of it. Yeah, just a great, great episode. Very, very, it gives that to why people die or vanish, that
Yeah.
is outside of the alien aspect. And what people don't, that might not know is for the X-Files, a lot of it is based off folklore that is actually, we've heard as kids or communities or in cultures. They take everything like that and they basically spin their own story off it. El Chupacabras in this, which it's not one of my favorite episodes,
Good episode.
but it's a totally different telling of it, and I thought that was really done well. And I like that aspect of the show, how they add that little thing of reality or truth in there. Hence the truth was always out there. But this is a really good one, man. Really, and it's in the season 6, so we're still going strong,
Yeah.
with them. And I do find it hilarious that the name of the series, the episode is Field Trip, which I always thought was
I
funny.
know, isn't it? That's even the one you just said before, familiar.
Mhm.
Because that's what it's a very familiar but like new for the X-Files. It's cool.
Yeah, man. So for my final one, Tom, my 5th one, I picked season 2, episode 4, Sleepless. And
Ooh.
it is directed by Rob Bowman and written by Howard Gordon. Now, Howard Gordon had worked on 24, and he was a producer for the X-Files for a long time, for the first 4 years. and then he did Homeland. He did Beauty and the Beast. Just good stuff from Howard Bowman. He won 3 primetime Emmys, so I mean he's cream of the crop, in terms of stuff like that. This one, reason I picked it and I loved it so much, and I'm pretty sure you can guess why, Tone, is because of the great Tony Todd.
Oh,
This is, of course, Tony Todd's coming fresh off, I believe is right off Candyman, if not mistaken, or it might be just before Candyman. But
no, this is a little after, just a very little bit
this
after.
was in 95, I think.
Yeah.
So he, so a little bit after. Basically, the whole aspect of not being able to sleep due to an experiment, basically driving you nuts, being able to control the reality of people through their subconscious. It's really, really done well too. Even though the character is doing bad things, you understand why he's doing bad things, and you kind of feel for him. We also get introduction of Mr. X, although he's mentioned in the season, he's not really shown for the first time. We see Mr. X actually shown in this episode. And it just gives you like a lot of little backstory to what's going on. Mulder and Scully have broken up. This is season 2, of course. They've broken up. The X-Files division is closed down. Scully's teaching medical students. Mulder's still like doing wiretappings. He's like decoding them. Skinner, I think it's like Skinner's like first run through here. And we're finding out, they're trying to keep them separate. They want the X-Files to be separate. And we find a new character in Alex Krycek as Mulder's partner. And there's a whole little story there. And so this is where like the story starts to kind of tie in more and more and more about the universe of the FBI and the X-Files at the time. And this series pushes that the government doesn't want you to know what's really going on. Mulder even says that as an FBI agent in the first episode. There's people hiding stuff from us. And now if you think about it, you had Obama talking about aliens. You got congressmen from both sides talking about aliens. So who knows, man? Aliens are out there. I mean, what else have they been hiding from us? I know there's been Bigfoot stuff that's been released. That's been redacted. That was redacted stuff that's come out now, unredacted. We're getting all that stuff out there, which I think is pretty crazy, that people were called crazy for saying they saw this stuff, and now they don't sound too crazy now, which is kind of funny that the X-Files, this would be a great time for the X-Files to come back out. But this episode was great acting by Tony Todd as Augustus Cole or Preacher. And I just love the aspects of when he shows people like their faults, the stuff that happens, like the guy with the Vietnamese people, because they're all in Nam. You have the other doctor who he made burn to death, which he never really burned to death. His mind made it seem like he did. Really, really good stuff on there. And Tony Todd's awesome. He brings this like presence, and most people know him from his voice. This one's more of his acting, and you feel for the character. That's why this is one of my favorite episodes.
Great episode.
What do you got for yours, man?
All right, here we go. All right, I'm gonna go just really quickly here. Okay, this is like gonna be like when the Chili Peppers play 3 songs in like 4 minutes here. Okay, these 3 episodes I think are like the bedrock. Number 1, I'm gonna go with Signs and Wonders really quick. Season 7, episode 9. Really quickly here, I like this episode a lot because it's another Monsters of the Week one. But this one has to do with like religion and rattlesnakes. And it's really cool because like the preacher can make the snakes appear and disappear. And the whole episode has you thinking it's going to go this one way. And then you actually realize that it's actually somebody else who's been controlling the snakes the whole time. And that's what's really cool about that episode. Have you seen Signs and Wonders?
Yes.
That's a cool episode. Second one really quick, which is who I thought you were going to go with before you said Tony Todd, who is equally as awesome, but the one with Bruce Campbell, Terms of Endearment. I would be renowned if I do not bring up this episode because of the fact this episode is actually really awesome. Really, really awesome. And it's one of the ones that honestly in my mind I could think of a lot. My dad excited to show me, and I don't even think he had seen Evil Dead. He wasn't really into like horror movies, but he's just like, this is a great episode. And it was an awesome episode because when you think about it, all these people are getting pregnant, and all he wants is a son who doesn't have the tail, so it doesn't look like he's the devil. And all these kids are popping up all over town with fucking tails, and it's just him being fucking Bruce Campbell. And the best is, and the picture that you like see if you look it up online, like when he goes over the women and is like a fire and flames like over them after he has like done what he does or whatever, and that's what makes the women go, oh, it was weird, like I started seeing things. And he's like, whoa, no, baby, what did you see? Because he's got like that really nice voice. Really, really awesome episode. And the third one really quickly here is probably, and I got to bring this one up for musical reasons, because, you know, I love music so much. This one is called Lord of the Flies. And this one is season 9, episode 5. And this one is awesome because it has very young Aaron Paul. It also has Jane Lynch. And the episode to me was awesome because it's a kid. He's struggling with himself. He's in middle school. He really doesn't know how to like fit in. He starts to feel weird. He starts seeing weird bug type stuff. And in the meanwhile, his like favorite artist is like Syd Barrett from like Pink Floyd, who like after he left, he was kind of like, oh, he was like out there. So this kid is going through all this stuff. And then like you find out at the very end that like he's actually a bug. Jane Lynch is actually the principal of the school, and she's like this head praying mantis bug. And like the dad is like, when they find the house, that them two are already gone. Because like I said, you never really ever figure anything out on the show. So they escape. But when they go up in the attic, they find like the dad cocooned. Because like obviously he wasn't a bug, and they just used him for the seed to make Aaron Paul. But like it's very interesting because the whole episode, you imagine this kid really struggling, like growing up to be a teen, like how it is. And Jane Lynch is really good at being like a mother, trying to like say, oh, it's going to be okay. But you actually realize that she's just a bug and he's a bug, and she knows how to protect him because it's a bug, and that's they just escape. It's kind of really interesting. But I really find the show cool for those 3 reasons, that you could just get such random cool storylines, you know, devils having babies, flies being people, you know, and or you know, snakes appearing, real cool stuff.
Yeah, man, just there's so many great ones. For just like a couple ones I had on the side as well, I'm gonna go rapid fire 3 just like you for to finish this out. One of the episodes that I liked a lot and that I think about all the time is Quagmire, and that's season 3, episode 22. Reason being is because it's basically based off Champ. Champ is our version of Nessie in Georgia. Basically, it's our version of the Loch Ness Monster. They find people dying out there. They think they eventually find out it's not. But the ending of the episode of seeing Champ actually appear in the water at the end as Mulder walks away, again, leaves everything open-ended. I love that aspect of it. The second one, and we kind of touched on this already, is the episode of El Mundo Guerra, which is the El Chupacabra episode, but it gives you a different spin on it. It gives you a different look at what it could be and why it hasn't been reported as often in terms of the character or the creature. It also has to deal with illegal immigrants, which is pretty funny. Just a good all-around episode. Check that one out. And the final one I'm going to talk about, Tone, is Paper Hearts. And reason being is because of Tom Noonan as John Lee Roach, who does an excellent job as a serial killer who's claiming that he is responsible for Mulder's sister's death. And that's one of the reasons Mulder is in the FBI, is because he is obsessed with finding his sister who disappeared when he was 8. He thinks it's alien abduction, but you know, they get this twists and turns. And this is one of the turns with his sister's death. Tom Noonan is phenomenal in this episode. And since I already went with Tony Todd and honored him, shout out to Tom Noonan to check out this episode. And this one is episode 10 of season 4. Now, we rapid fired those last 6, 3 and 3. But I had a lot of fun doing this one. Like, even though this is a shorter show than we normally do, like I could talk X-Files all day. And I think, we should at least do like a segment with the X-Files because it's so good.
Well, and now that that within the next 5 or 6 months it's coming back, that people are going to be going back and going to be looking at this stuff. So we could be on the forefront of starting to bring the X-Files back. Hardcore, man.
Let us know what you guys think in the comments or on the Twitters.
Yeah, and please don't reach out to us. And I know I didn't bring up Brian Thompson from Cobra because he does a great job. Pretty hair all over this X-Files as one of the alien bounty hunters. He does. There's so many good actors throughout the show. That we didn't get
200 episodes, guys. I mean, we went through 16 of them.
I know. It's a great time. Great time.
So that just shows you how great of a series it is. Also, Brian Thompson's actually in Fallout, the new Fallout series. Is
he really?
Yeah, he's one of the Brotherhoods of Steel guys.
Oh, I'm a Brian Thompson stan. So Joe Dirt, he should have gotten an Academy Award for that. I liked your GIF earlier.
Every time I see Brian Thompson, I just think of him going, "You want it, don't you, pig?"
Imagine 11-year-old Tony just walking around saying that and needing to be told to stop. I want your eyes, pig. I want them. The way he says it. I want them.
I wish they released the director's cut of that because it looks so good. And like the way he plays that character, fucking scary, man. And when he tightens up his like gloves and you hear the leather like tightening, it's
as a kid, when you watch that, I was scared. And that night, but like what's funny is I turned to my dad and be like, I want a knife. Like I never had any knives in my life. I still don't. I looked at him and I go, I want a knife like this. Like the spikes on it.
Yeah, ridiculous stuff, man.
Cool though.
But that is our X-Files episode. Let us know if you guys like this. We can do more breakdowns of TV shows or paranormal, whether it be anything. We're trying to venturing out. Movies is great, but it's also kind of cool to look into this stuff that guys really interested into film and movie making and stuff like that. And this is one of the shows that was very, very foundation building for me in terms of loving film and storytelling. That's another great episode with a carnival. The carnival Hummer, I think it's Hummer, something like that. I think it's called. Yeah, that's a really good episode. But yeah, X-Files have always has a soft place in my heart. And Tone, I'm glad that we can share this one with our listeners.
Yeah, definitely.
So with that, before we get into the Sugar Baggy soundtrack pick of the week, my man Tone, let everybody know what's going on the Hookup and the James Bond show, my man.
All right, for the Hookup on music, we are going to be back this weekend. Got a lot of new music that has been released. The Strokes, they got a new song. If you're into the Strokes, it's actually really, really good stuff. Yumper, I don't know if you've checked this out yet, my man, but if you have not, I think you should put it to the top of your list because I know they're your favorite band. But if you have not checked out the new Chili Peppers documentary on Netflix, it's really good. And I could get it. We're not going to do it tonight because we got to keep this show moving. But I can make the argument of just how awesome Hillel Slovak is on those first 4 albums. I mean, I love those albums. I can't stop listening to those albums. But I'm not saying everything else isn't super awesome because I've listened to those albums a lot too. And right now I'm just in a really big, but it does a good job because honestly, when I heard about this documentary, I heard it was going to be like they weren't involved with Chili Peppers, but you really get a good heartfelt side from Flea and Kiedis. And it's really, really cool. It's really done well. So if you haven't, you might have. But
no, I have not watched it. You're like the 10th person to tell this. I have coworkers have told me to go watch this. My Sock Summer actually texted me. He's like, "Hey, the Chili Peppers documentary is really good. You should watch it."
Yeah. It's a little sad, but
yeah.
You're gonna put it on a Friday night at like midnight because you might, start tearing up and you're like, "What am I doing here?" Crying.
LL, LL and Jack Irons were the 2 original members that are not longer with the Peppers. But LL was very, influential to John Frusciante, who is the guitarist now, to the point where John Frusciante used to go to their shows and LL was the person that would, that told him, like, if we ever got big and we're selling out our arenas, would you still love us? And Frusciante always said no, because it would ruin the whole thing. You guys are a small net. And that's why Frusciante originally left in 93 was, one, his drug use, and two, he kept feeling like
it's getting too big.
We're getting too big. Like LL was just musically awesome. There's a lot of similarities with him and John. LL has his rhythm is a little bit more different in LL, but John, is
John's great.
John's great. Yeah,
you're never gonna say he's not great. It's always that argument, because like, let's say I'm a really big fan of AC/DC's first singer, but he dies in 78. But they get a new singer, you can't replace the old guy because he's dead. So what you got to do is say this new guy is great. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna put him down because at least the band continued. I mean, they make great albums with Frusciante.
Yeah, and I think all the people they had in their band, whether it be
even Navarro's album isn't the worst. Yeah,
Thunderbird on the guitar. You had Cliff Portis on the drums. Even Josh Cliffhanger, who did the two. I think those two albums are like. I know we talked about.
I'm gonna tell you something where you're gonna think I'm crazy. I wish I was in the recording studio for their second album where George Clinton was producing it, because it sounded like the most insane madhouse I've ever heard of.
Dude, if you read Scar Tissue, Anthony talks about that. How they did a lot of coke, yeah, those two albums, The Getaway and what was the other one, Tone? The Getaway and
The Getaway was good. The one with the little fly on the front.
It's not. I'm With You.
Yes,
those two albums were underrated but very good. And then there was a third album they scrapped when Josh left. But yeah, I love the Chili Peppers. I'm definitely gonna check this out. But what got me into thinking was, to pull us all back, you talked about the Strokes releasing an album. When Jenny and I saw the Chili Peppers at the Soldier Field, the Strokes actually opened for them. But before the Strokes was actually Thundercat, which is the bassist. He opened, and then the Strokes came out, and then the Peppers came out. So it kind of brings it all back together. But I'm looking forward to it, and I hope the Strokes stuff is really, really good. In terms of music, man, I wanted to ask you this: if you heard this song called, I'll tell you right now, because Jenny sent it to me yesterday, and it was great. It's called Band-Aid by Paris Jackson.
No, but I will listen to it as soon as I get off the phone here.
You get Nirvana feels from the rhythm. The riff is Nirvana feels, and I want you to figure out what song it is that you kind of get that from.
All right.
But yeah, South Arcade released a new song today called Superman, which I thought was really good. But yeah, I mean, I could talk music all day with you. You know that.
You ever hear the band 10 years ago? This is their first album in 10 years, but they were called Temper Trap.
Yeah.
They got a new album, dude. Check it out. It's really good. But that's what's cool about music, man. We could always talk about it, just like we talk about Awesome X-Files episodes.
Yeah, my man. And then what's going on with me and Cotton will be back for Frame to Frame. We're actually recording an episode Sunday where we're doing the 1950s version of The Fly versus the Jeff Goldblum version of The Fly in 1986. So that's going to be a fun episode. Cotton just watched the 50s version, and it's with a bunch of French actors and Vincent Price, which he thought was hilarious. But, they're both good in their own rights, but we'll see where we can pick apart.
If I ever get like big time money cameras, I'd get him in his apartment while he's watching these movies, because he's got to have some commentary just watching this, making comments. It's gonna be great.
Shout out to Cotton though, because it makes me laugh what you said, because I watched him when you guys were done with the Bond show. He was talking about that Cubs at the Cubs game when that person fell over and their crack showed.
Yeah.
And he said he was watching it with his wife on the couch, and he's like, "Oh my God!" And she's like, "What?" He's like, "Oh my God, look at this!" And she's like, "Oh my God!" I guess imagine like Cotton and his wife going, "Oh my God!" But yeah, check out the Sunny Ranto show for our guy Cotton. But we'll be back Sunday, and I'll be probably releasing that on Monday. I got some stuff popping in my mind for some new blogs. I want to get out if I can't do the videos. The videos are just taking too much time for me to do right now. But I might use a couple more blogs because they're a little easier for me to palette and get out there. movie related and some music related. I really liked the one I did on South Arcade.
Did a good
putting
job.
out so I want to write some stuff out there.
Well,
So
speaking
please
of more
check out
good
that.
jobs that you do, real quick here, I was going through your because what I like to do is if I'm showing Katie a horror movie that she hasn't seen, it's definitely first going to your 31 Days of Horror to see if I can locate it, because that's what I show her, to show her that it's an awesome movie. Recently, was it on the show or did you do a 31 Days? Because I was trying to find it earlier because I want to show her The First Power. Did we talk about that? Where did we talk about
We
that?
talked about that on it was
One of the horror episodes, right?
was it it might have been one of the horror episodes.
I'll have to
But I know
find
we talked about it in what we watched that week.
But you brought it up, and
Yeah.
honestly, we watched the show on HBO called The Pit,
Mm.
and Jeff Kohler showed up on there, and immediately when he showed up on there, I go, Katie, you got to watch The First Power, because he's the bad guy in there. So I think that's his name, Jeff Kohler. Did I get that correctly?
Yeah.
But that's a cool, man. Lou Diamond Phillips, man, awesome.
And to bring this all back to what we're talking about earlier, he was considered for the Robert Patrick role in
Really?
Detective John Doggett. He was considered for that role
Really?
when David Duchovny
Love
left.
Lou Diamond Phillips here. We're a Lou Diamond Phillips podcast. We're getting
Yes.
on here.
Yes. I'm anticipating the new Young Guns that's coming out with him in it. I'm really looking
Yes.
forward to it. But yeah, that's basically what we've been doing. Before we get to Sugar Baggy's soundtrack pick of the week, thank you guys for listening and watching and being with us on this journey. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up in the future that we got ideas that are rolling around in our minds. So these 2-week breaks actually help out a lot in terms of planning and deciding what we want to do. But you never know, there might be a pop-up episode here and there. So be sure to check that out. But enough of me rambling, Mr. Burt. Let's get into your Sugar Baggy soundtrack pick of the week, my friend.
Let's do it.
The Sugar Baggy soundtrack pick of the week.
Tonight, what we are going to be talking about is there was quite a lot of music for the X-Files. We'll go with the X-Files, the album, which honestly, that first movie that they came out with was actually pretty good, the X-Files movie. But the soundtrack, Foo Fighters' Walking After You is a pretty good track. You go on down to the bottom there, you got X doing the Doors' Crystal Ship, which is really ironic because X's first album was produced by Ray Manzarek, who is from the Doors and a Southside legend, who you saw, right? If I got that correctly.
I saw him when he did the revival of the Doors called The Doors of the 21st Century. It was just him and Robbie Krieger, and Ian from the Cult was their lead singer for John, and Ty Dennis was a drummer. Good stuff.
That's awesome. But you go through this, you got Noel Gallagher doing a song. The Dust Brothers, who for a long time, they were really big. You know, they did Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique. They did a couple Beck albums. They even did Mbop by Hanson. But the soundtrack itself is cool. A lot of music, like I said, was just all over the series. I mean, the title itself is really good. It's just really, I think, just a good picture of the time, also for the music, for what they put on it. But that's the time period. They're trying to get you in for that. And then they do a good job at it. What did you think of the soundtrack?
I actually like this one a lot because it's got The Cure on there from More Than This is on there. You got Tonic, Flower Man, Filters on this one too for one. Bunch of really, really, good. I think you have Sarah McLachlan thrown in there, which I always thought. And then Bjork, I always call her Bjork. Bjork is on there. Just a really, really diverse list of artists on here. I like the film and I like the soundtrack. I think they did a very, very good job. It's kind of crazy that Filter isn't talked about a lot more. I know, and I'm surprised Tonic didn't blow up bigger than what they did.
True too.
Because everybody, when everybody talks about Tonic, they always talk about Lemonade Stand and Lemonade Parade, and they talk about the Eyes, I think it's called. Oh, if you can only see.
Yeah, if you could only see. That was a good song.
Yeah, and that's like one of their songs, but they have some like pretty decent hits that go unnoticed. But yeah, man, great album.
Awesome.
Well, with that tone, that is the end of our show. An hour and 30 minutes, man. We flew through this one, but we mostly rambled and talked. And yes, Gordo, we are still going strong. If this is the kind of stuff you guys like for the topics, let us know, because we appreciate all feedback, whether good or bad. We're big boys. We can take the bad and the good. But with that, guys, you guys have a great next couple of weeks. We will be back with a new fresh At the Show podcast. Be sure to check out SaddisticPenguinStudios.com for your blogs, all our podcasts, and other goodies in there. Check out the Hookup on Music. Check out the James Bond Show on our YouTube. Also, Getting Drafting Here should be returning, I believe, April 24th. Is it Tuesday?
I'm pretty sure it's the 14th. Yeah.
Okay, Tuesday the 14th. We'll be back. I thought it was the 24th. Tuesday the 14th. Brian will be back, so be sure to check that out. Is it you and Mailman Jack? Are you guys on
me, Mail Jack, and Brian? And then he messaged me the other day, and he wants to do an episode with the Hookup, like on the 22nd. So that's Brian's coming back strong.
Awesome.
Now we got to get Brian to eat a burrito. We got to get him back in the burrito,
so he can shit his pants. But thank you guys for listening. Have a great rest of your nights, days, whatever you listen to this, and we'll be back.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to the At the Show podcast, a Sadistic Penguin Studios production.
Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?